Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd with a review for you better reviews. Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm gonna give you the good, I'm gonna give you the bad, I'm gonna give you the nerdy. I'm not gonna call this a no spoiler or a spoiler review. I'm just gonna talk about the movie. There might be some things in it that you might consider mild spoilers. No big reveals, but I just want to talk about the movie the way I want to talk about it, so watch at your discretion. And if you like watching me do movie reviews, make sure you click that subscribe button. Star Wars The Last Jedi for me was a very entertaining and very interesting film. I've been thinking about it ever since I saw it, and I'm going to go see it again because it was a movie that I walked out of it going, oh, that was pretty good. All right, I can handle this. And then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, yeah. There was some stuff that they brought to the table with this one that was a little bit different than what I was expecting. This could have been easily a rehash of The Empire Strikes Back, or at least heavily inspired by it in ways that The Force Awakens was heavily inspired by the original Star Wars. And every moment that came in this movie where I thought it would go that way, the movie just went, nah, bro, we going over here. You weren't expecting that. Boom. I thought the evolution of all the newer characters was really good. You get to see Rey meeting face to face with Luke Skywalker, ready to become a Jedi. And what you learn about her is that even though she's happy that she has these Jedi powers, she's also afraid. She doesn't know how to deal with it. She doesn't know how to control it. She doesn't know her backstory of why she has it or who her parents are. And a lot of that troubles her. And it also troubles Luke because he's worried that because of these fears, it could lead her to easily get swayed by the dark side. And he's already dealt with that with Kylo Ren. He don't want to deal with that again. And Kylo Ren, man, I gotta give him props. He brought it in this movie. I know people have their concerns about him, but the thing about Kylo Ren is you can't look at him like he's supposed to be the next Vader, because he is not. This is a guy that is clearly emotional, and he has some issues because he's had problems with his mentors, both in the light side and in the dark. And he's just very confused and conflicted about who he's supposed to be with this power. And then they showcase in this movie that there's some kind of special connection between Kylo Ren and Rey. It's almost like a Jedi FaceTime where they can just sense each other and talk to each other when they're not even in the same area. And it leads to some very interesting conversations. Both want to have a better future. They just want to do it in different ways. And they're both just like, come on my side. No, you come on my side. No, you come over here. No, you come over here. It's like a big tug of war that's going on, a Jedi tug of war. Literally, there's a scene that feels like a straight up Jedi tug of war. Like a, force. Meanwhile, you got Poe Dameron. He's still flying around, the best pilot, but he's getting a little cocky. General Leia has to remind him a few times that, look, you might have done something awesome over here. The First Order was over here with these 10 other people that you weren't noticing and just killed them all. So, good job. And there's this scene that takes place where they're having this big space battle at the beginning of the movie. And I was thinking like, oh, this is the cool big action showpiece they put at the beginning of the movie to get the action started right away. Come to find out that this is actually a large part of the entire movie. There is a resistance ship that's pretty much the last of the people in the resistance, and the First Order is on them, and the resistance is in trouble. They're running out of fuel, they're running out of power, and they even have this new thing where, I don't want to say too much, but there's something that ships have always been able to do to get away that this time don't work. First Order got some new GPS tracking to figure out that even if you get far away from us using certain ways, we got you. And then of course you had Finn. He finally wakes up from his coma, and the first thing he's doing is like, where's Rey at? He knows that Rey is away. He doesn't want her to come back because he's afraid that she'll get in danger if she comes back here, so he tries to find her so they can escape. And he runs into Rose, this brand new character, who thinks that he's trying to get away, and it leads to this whole like, oh, crazy dynamics, but then they end up becoming a pair that goes on this quest of their own to try to help everyone out. And let me just say, man, I freaking love Rose. I just love her spunk. Even though she does what she needs to do, she gets her job done. There's just something kind of aura about her that kind of feels like, it feels like she won a contest. Like she won a contest to be in a Star Wars movie, like have a walk-on role, but everyone just loved her so much that she now gets to have a major part in the movie. Like a dream come true. Like I was just supposed to be an extra in the background because I found the right piece in my Star Wars cereal, and now I'm a main character in this whole universe. Yay me! But yeah, it's really cool to see her character in this, and her and Finn get along really well throughout the course of the movie, and they spend a lot of the time together, so it makes sense. You also get a little bit of story about her sister as well, which is very quick, but it's very powerful. Like this one character, her sister, probably has more emotion than some of the characters who are in the entire movie, which is her one scene. Oh, and Finn brings it this time, man. None of that little jokey, I'm gonna run away, you got a boyfriend. He is the Finn I wanted. Like he even does something at the end of this movie, towards the end of this movie, that I was like, damn, Finn, you have grown. Randy Quaid would be proud. Hey, stormtroopers, I'm back. The only character I've never really been big on is General Hux. That voice has even gotten more and more out there. But what I like about the movie is that even in the movie, nobody likes General Hux. This dude is slapped around, thrown across the place, made fun of, and now I like him more for the fact that no one in the movie treats him seriously. But the classic characters are here too, and they're not forgotten. And what I like about this movie is that they're not just there for fan service and nostalgia. They actually try to do some evolution with some of the classics, like Luke. Luke, you would just think is gonna come in as the Obi-Wan role and just do his thing so that Rey can be the next Jedi and that's it. Nah, man. Luke got some backstory that's a little like, dude, what? And it kind of could also have been the reason why all the stuff we're dealing with now is happening. And he always regrets that. And I thought that was kind of cool. And what's interesting about the story is it's one of those stories that you get to hear a couple of times in the movie and you get to hear it from different perspectives. So you see how each person feels about that moment and how it looked to them and why they are acting the way they act now because of what happened in their mind at that moment. And Leia, man, Leia's just badass. Leia has gone full general and she also reminds you real quick, remember, I'm a Skywalker too. I know Luke got all these powers, but Leia pulled out a power. I was like, damn. I didn't even know Jedi could do that. You thought you've seen everything that the Force could do. This movie is like, nah, we got some advanced level courses of Force. Some advanced Force courses that you didn't even know about, and you about to get a lesson, son. They got me too, man. There's a moment in this movie, I don't want to give too much away, where that tear was about to come down because I thought something was about to happen. And then that movie was like, nah, suck that tear right back up. You cool. Everything's good. And Luke too, boy. Luke does something with his Jedi powers. I was like, damn. Luke does a thing where it's like, you got this one time, you'll never see me do it again, but when I did it this one time, I hope you enjoyed it. And I was like, I did, Luke. Good job. But I tell you who I think really has the Force. It ain't Rey. It ain't Kylo Ren. It's freaking BB-8. BB-8 is like OP robot. This droid can pretty much do anything. It is really the Swiss Army knife of androids. Especially towards the end, man. BB-8 does something I was like, God dang it, what can't you do? People talking about Rey being overpowered. BB-8. People throw BB-8 in this movie. Like, they throw him. He should break apart and he's just like, bounce. Like a freaking gummy bear, like, oh, my head fell off? Let me just go grab that real quick. You can't kill BB-8. BB-8 is a Terminator, y'all. BB-8 is gonna come back in time and kill John Connor, and we're gonna be ruled in the future by BB-8s. And that's a world I'm okay with living in. As always, the action is always on point in these movies. The space battles are good. The lightsaber battle, the lightsaber. There is a lightsaber battle in this movie that is so awesome. Man, they even do something with a ship in this movie that I was like, oh man, I never would have thought about doing that with a ship in Star Wars, but when they do it, it is so awesome. It is so awesome that the movie just stops doing sound. It's just like, and I was like, all right. On the final act of this movie, or the final battle in this movie, it's really cool. It's not a Death Star this time. It's Death Star-ish, but at least it's on the ground this time, so we get a ground fight. They're on this salt planet, or this planet where like the white part, it turns red, so it has this nice visual to it. It was worth it. We get some new creatures. Of course, they're cute and adorable. Some of them are CGI, some of them are practical, some are a mixture of both. The Porgs are not annoying. I was really happy. I was really worried about the Porgs. I was like, did these become the Star Wars minions? I'm gonna be a little bit upset, but they're actually really kind of cute. I love the Arctic fox things, the little like crystal foxes. Those were awesome. There's some other creatures that are like, yeah, you know, they're okay. Some of them are there for jokes and humor. There's a lot of humor in this movie, a lot more than I would have expected. It's not like the Star Wars comedy hour or anything, but definitely more humor and more direct humor than you would probably expect from something like Star Wars. So for some people that might be a little bit hard to swallow. Some of the jokes I think did work though. Some don't, but some do. Like there's this whole scene that takes place in the casino, and I know some people have been really harping on this part. I don't think it's the worst. I think there's some stuff in there that works, some things that don't work. They get a little silly in there. It gets a little jokey joke. But at the same time, I kind of like seeing a Star Wars casino. I just thought that was kind of neat. And you know what got me? And it's the lamest thing in the world, and I should put this as a bad, but it was good for me. There's a character that literally in this movie is one of those rich, snobbish people with the little tiny mustache and the white suit and the lapel, and he just goes, "Lovey." that ever says love me like that, I'm like, all right, I know I should not like you because that's cheap, but I do. But like I said, the big thing that I can give credit for this movie is it is not predictable at all. All of you that created your Star Wars theories, blogs and videos and everything that you've created for the past couple of years about what you think is gonna happen with Rey's parents, if Kylo Ren's gonna go full Vader, the origins of Snoke, all that stuff, you just might as well delete it. Just file delete, because this movie either takes it a direction you never even thought it would take, or just goes, nah, that's not important. You thought that was going to be important? It ain't. Sorry that you wasted your time. She just waited till the movie came out, like everyone else did. That's your fault. One of the biggest problems I have with the movie is that all the characters that I like are split up. So Rey has her thing going on with Luke, Finn and Rose have their thing going on, Poe has his thing going on with Leia, and then Kylo Ren kind of pops in with Rey every once in a while. And I get why they did that because they have so many different things going on with this story. But one of the things that made The Force Awakens work for me was I love the chemistry between Finn and Poe. I love the chemistry between Finn and Rey. So the fact that they're mostly split up through this entire film, you kind of miss that a little bit. That's why I'm glad they had Finn and Rose together, because it kind of brought back that chemistry that I was expecting based on what I saw with Rey and Finn and Poe in The Force Awakens. Plus their plot points aren't even. They're all good storylines, but some get a little bit more detail than others. Some are put on the screen a little bit more than others, because we get back and forth like 5 or 6 times of Luke being like, I'm not gonna train you, Rey, and I'm like, dude, we know you're gonna train us, so just go ahead and do it. We don't have to keep coming back here for you to say no. And there's some things that happened with Poe that made sense, but there was a couple times I was like, you probably could have just had a conversation with him, Laura Dern, and then we probably would have gotten this all cleared up. Meanwhile, Finn and Rose are sort of establishing this relationship as a duo together. It kind of gets established through dialogue, but I think it would have been nice to see more of it. They kind of get a little excited when they get to that casino. It's like, oh, look at the CGI, look at this and look at that. We gotta do all this stuff to make it all fun, and I get it because the kids are coming too. You gotta give something to the kids. But I love those two characters together, and I think they were establishing something great with them, and so I wish that their story was beefed up a little bit more. The movie is fine with its length, but I think it could have either been a little bit tighter or it could have just balanced out a little bit more. You balanced out the Force, let's balance out the plot points. And there was a character in that casino, I was like, come on, y'all, that's a leprechaun. Don't go back to that, I am not going in there with 2 Jedi Knight type of Star Wars characters, okay? We did that in the prequels, don't do that again. The movie has a mix of practical effects and CGI effects, which is fine, but that just means that some of the CGI is gonna look really CGI when you see it. But I gotta give them props, man, because there's something they could have done CGI that has been done CGI before, that wasn't CGI before that, and they could have did CGI again, and they chose instead to go back to practical, and I was like, wow, that's bold. And some of the lessons that they try to put in this movie are a little heavy-handed. They try to do some things about the rich living off the poor in the casino scene. There's a whole talk about weapons and how they're handled on both sides. And it's like, that's it, Iron Man. I get it. You want to put your lessons in there, but little on the nose. Poor Captain Phasma, man. Like, she just has such a great outfit and a great demeanor, and you're just wanting her to shine. She gets like a scene. It's a really good scene, but it's a scene. A scene. But at least Captain Phasma does better than Maz Kanata. Lupita Nyong'o, they need to get rid of her CGI character and just make her a character in the movie, like the actress. Not only is she in one scene, she's like in like a little viewing globe. Like we're in the freaking Power Rangers command center and we're watching Zordon's globe, and she's in there like, hey, I'm gonna tell you some exposition, and then I'm out. I'm off to Black Panther. Seriously, like, can she like go in a cocoon and like metamorphosis? Maz Kanata go in a cocoon and come out as Lupita Nyong'o as a human? Can we just do that? Do that in episode 9. And now for the nerdy, it's Star Wars. Done. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some hardcore Star Wars fanboys that are not gonna like this movie because some characters are not gonna do the things they thought they were gonna do. Some storylines are not gonna go the way that they thought they were gonna go. Their fan fiction is completely ripped up and shredded and burned. And to that I say, who needs your 3D glasses when you got your nostalgia goggles? If you like the movie, fine. If you don't, fine. These are my opinions. This is how I feel. I enjoyed it. Wish it could have been structured a little bit tighter, but I still enjoyed what I saw. But what I really respect about it is it's a movie that made me think, and it's a movie that I want to see again because it made me think so much, and that is not something I would have expected from Star Wars. The Force Awakens was more of the fun, nostalgia throwback. This is more of a thinking man Star Wars for me, and I appreciate that they went in that direction. So those are my thoughts about Star Wars. Let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please subscribe to this channel, and also ring that bell to be notified of future videos I make. Be part of that squad by the bell. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000.